Welcome to CHCA's Upper School for grades 7 and 8, home to approximately 200 students. Around CHCA, we refer to this as the beginning of a 6-year journey, a time when others may be wishing away these often turbulent in-between years. Instead, we embrace this time as a season of self-discovery and extraordinary growth for your student. We call it beginning with the end in mind. And while most start thinking about what a high school graduate should do and be during their freshman year, we leverage the power of these two important years to start laying that foundation in grade 7. Some schools measure their students' progress by certain well-defined markers, like GPA, number of AP courses taken, and test scores. These markers can serve as important and helpful checkpoints, but we see your student as much more than a matrix of test scores. At CHCA, we focus on who your child is becoming. Is he resilient? Can she think critically? Does she have confidence in who God uniquely created her to be? Is his faith becoming part of who he is? Does she have a picture of how God has gifted her in special ways for a future kingdom impact? Let's dive in and understand what this means specifically for our students in grades 7 and 8. In the classroom, your student will be challenged to be more than just an answer giver. Here, seminar discussions challenge students to examine primary sources, respond to thought-provoking questions, develop well-reasoned arguments, and think deeply across all subjects. You might be asked to explain the geopolitical forces at play that could have prevented the Second World War. Write an essay on the character traits of a hero using multiple literary sources, or relate a quote from Sir Isaac Newton to Scripture. Whether in English, science, social studies, or math, CHCA students move beyond just checking boxes and dive into real intellectual curiosity, perseverance through wrong answers or failed experiments to see learning in failure, and take ownership of their learning. As we equip your student with the tools for intellectual engagement, we also lay a solid foundation for their faith through an approach we call head, heart, and hands. For the head, during these formative years, we equip students with a rich understanding of the Christian faith as our faculty integrate biblical and theological concepts across all subject areas and through a 6-year Christian studies curriculum. Throughout the journey, students grasp the storyline of the Old and New Testaments, learn to read and understand Scripture, and view the modern church in the context of church history. For the heart, each week we gather for chapel with worship led by our faculty and student worship bands, and a message from our chaplain or guest speakers designed to help your student learn what it means to live a life of following Christ. And for the hands, we provide opportunities for students to experience the joy of serving each other and others throughout our city. We also set aside a special week each year for students to understand their God-given gifts and use those to serve throughout our city and, in 8th grade, within the region or even outside of the U.S. And learning here also isn't confined to a classroom setting. As part of our upper school entrepreneurship program, students in grades 7 and 8 can take part in a student-run coffee shop business. Students interested in media have the opportunity to produce a weekly news broadcast for their peers. Our grade 7 and 8 robotics team competes against area high school programs, and students are enabled to develop their gifts in the arts and sports supported by outstanding faculty and coaches in top-notch facilities. With class sizes averaging 16 to 18 students and roughly 100 students per grade, your student will be individually known by his or her teachers and connected to the school community. New students often wonder what it's like to be new at CHCA. Our answer is that you will never eat alone. Each new student is given an ambassador who sits with you at lunch and shows you the ropes until this place feels like home. Finally, in preparation for what comes next in their upper school journey, we set aside the last bell of each day for something we call student-directed learning. Similar to a study hall with more freedom, students have access to each of their teachers for extra help, can participate in peer tutoring sessions, and develop time management and self-advocacy skills. As they move into grades 9 through 12, they truly have the confidence and a unique head start on the next 4 years. Sound like a worthy investment for your student? We invite you to join us for your own student's 6-year upper school journey at CHCA.